Patriots Nation, take a deep breath because today's script is all about pride, pressure, and hope in Foxborough. First, we're getting into Milton Williams and why that expensive gamble is starting to look a lot more like real vision. Then, a possible trade target out of Detroit could change the future for Drake Maye. After that, Robert Spillane is standing right in the middle of this defense, bringing leadership, some limitations, and a lot riding on 2026. And to close it out, we have an unexpected story that starts in Finland and ends right at the gates of Gillette. Hit that like button and subscribe because today, this one is fan to fan. And this first story just has a different kind of feel to it because for years, Patriots fans kept hearing the same thing. New England does not make the big splash, does not open the checkbook, and does not go all in for the headline name. During the dynasty, Bill Belichick won in his own way. He paid the guys who held the system together. He stayed away from the easy shine. He pushed back against the kind of move that looks great on day one and turns into a problem by month 3. So when Elliott Wolf stepped into more power in 2024, fans wanted a new kind of energy. They wanted aggression. They wanted the Patriots to stop sitting back, watching the market, and start making teams respect them again. And then came Milton Williams. At first, yes, it was a shock. 4 years, $104 million. The biggest contract in franchise history for a defensive tackle coming off a strong season and a Super Bowl run with the Eagles. The Patriots were so serious that they jumped into the picture when it looked like he was headed to the Panthers. That is not some little detail. That shows priority. That shows belief. That shows somebody inside that building really thought this guy could change the entire defensive front. And you know what makes it feel even bigger now? He has started proving it on the field. Williams did not show up as just a huge check. He showed up as interior pressure, energy, and the kind of piece that changes the math up front. When a metric puts Milton Williams at a 13.6% pressure rate among interior defensive linemen, ahead of names like Chris Jones, Zach Allen, and Quinnen Williams, the conversation gets completely different. What looked like risk starts looking like vision. And next to Christian Barmore, the Patriots might have found a defensive tackle duo strong enough to become the identity of this team. This is not only about sacks. It is about pushing the pocket into the quarterback's lap, destroying timing, forcing double teams, freeing up linebackers, and letting this defense play with anger and control at the same time. That is the type of move that separates a cautious rebuild from a rebuild with real purpose behind it. Wolf could have played it safe. He could have made middle-of-the-road signings just to avoid taking heat. Instead, he bet big on a player who, if he keeps playing like this, will make that contract feel smaller every Sunday. And when that happens in Foxborough, my friends, the whole story flips. Doubt becomes a warning. The Patriots are not just trying to patch holes on the roster, they are trying to build a defense that hurts opponents' pride. Now, if that first story is about a gamble already beginning to pay off, this second one is about a door that could open on the market. And when a door this big shows up, the Patriots cannot just stand there, hands in their pockets, waiting for another team to move faster. This starts in Detroit. The Lions gave linebacker Jack Campbell a massive extension, 4 years, $81 million, with $51.1 million guaranteed. And that is happening on a roster that still has to think about Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, and Sam LaPorta. In other words, the bill is coming. Every good team eventually runs into this. You draft well, develop talent, build a strong core, and you cannot pay everybody. Somebody becomes the sacrifice. Somebody becomes an opening for a front office that is actually paying attention. And that is where Sam LaPorta comes into the picture. This is still in the rumor and trade idea zone, but the logic for New England is strong. Hunter Henry is going into the final year of his deal, and so far there has not been a major public sign that an extension is close. Eli Raradune is still a young bet, with natural questions before his first season. Julian Hill has experience, but he was brought in mainly for his value as a blocker. So if the Patriots want to protect Drake Maye with security, continuity, and a real middle-of-the-field threat, they have to think beyond just the immediate present. LaPorta is only 25 years old. He was a second-round pick in 2023, exploded as a rookie with 86 catches, 889 yards, and 10 touchdowns, and became a Pro Bowler right away. Even with a dip in production after that, the talent does not just disappear. The fit is easy to picture. A young tight end, already tested, who can win inside, attack zones, give Maye a reliable outlet, and keep the position strong if Henry is not back in 2027. And the most interesting part is the rumored price. Analysts have talked about something like a third-round pick, maybe with a player included, possibly on defense. For a team trying to build around its quarterback, that kind of cost has to be taken seriously. This is not spending just to spend. This is solving a problem before it becomes a hole on the roster. Elliott Wolf has to make that call. Maybe Detroit says no right now. Maybe this only heats up closer to the deadline. But the Patriots need to be in the conversation because reliable weapons for young quarterbacks do not just appear every day. And if Maye is the center of the future, then every offensive decision has to answer one simple question. Does this help the kid grow faster? With LaPorta, that answer feels pretty hard to ignore. And now we move to the kind of player who does not always get the flashy headline, but absolutely changes the heartbeat of a defense. Robert Spillane did not come to Foxborough to be a commercial star. He came to be a voice, a presence, a hitter, a processor, and a commander. And in his first year with Mike Vrabel, he showed exactly why the Patriots viewed him as a central piece of this defensive rebuild. His resume helps tell the story. Spillane went undrafted in 2018, spent time with the Titans, Steelers, and Raiders, and built his career through toughness, intelligence, and persistence. In Las Vegas, he became a real starter, led the team in tackles in both seasons, and almost never left the field. When New England gave him 3 years and $33 million in 2025, the message was loud and clear. This defense needed a new organizer. And when Juwan Bentley left shortly after, it became even more obvious that Spillane was not just another signing. He was taking on real responsibility. In 2025, he opened as a starter, wore the green dot, became a captain, and finished with 115 tackles in 17 games, plus quarterback pressure, 2 interceptions, pass breakups, and 0 penalties. For a middle linebacker, that says a lot. He is not just the guy who hits. He is the guy who lines people up, communicates, corrects, reads the run design, and keeps everyone connected when the offense tries to create chaos. But there is fair criticism here too. Spillane is not the most explosive linebacker in the league. In coverage, especially against tight ends and running backs one-on-one, the athletic limitations can show up. The catch rate allowed when targeted shows the Patriots need to protect him structurally in certain situations. And the health piece matters too, because foot and ankle injuries bothered him late in the regular season and showed up again in the playoffs. But shrinking Spillane down to those flaws would miss the heart of the story. He is a culture player. He is a defender who fits Vrabel because he plays with urgency, embraces contact, understands space, and speaks the language of a defense that wants to be miserable to face. In 2026, with a $12.3 million cap hit and a contract through 2027, he is basically locked into the roster and should remain a 3-down linebacker, emotional leader, and defensive signal caller. The question for the fan base is a real one. Will Spillane still be the Patriots' top linebacker this season, or does New England need to start preparing for a transition? Because if he is healthy, this team gets brains and violence in the middle of the defense. But if the body starts charging interest, Foxborough will have to answer fast. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this debate says a lot about the real ceiling of this defense. And to close out the 4 stories, we have a pretty fascinating one. It may seem small at first, but it says a lot about how a competitive roster gets built. The Patriots took their evaluation process all the way across the Atlantic to Finland, where Logan Collier was playing for the Tampere Saints after stops at Lindsey Wilson, North Alabama, a run in indoor football with the San Antonio Gunslingers, and even a Buffalo Bills minicamp. Collier came to New England's rookie minicamp on a tryout basis, originally listed as a cornerback, but ended up working at safety, a position he said he had never played before. And still, he got good feedback from the coaches for picking things up quickly. That detail matters. Not because he instantly became the answer, because the Patriots signed Peter Manuma after minicamp and Collier went back to Finland. But because it shows the kind of profile this staff is searching for: versatile, fast, return experience, and willing to change roles. And the speed is real. At UAB's Pro Day, Collier ran a 4.36-second 40-yard dash and impressed Buffalo enough to earn a minicamp opportunity. At Lindsey Wilson, he won a national title, was a 2-time All-Conference player, and became the school's all-time leader in kick return touchdowns. Then at North Alabama, he had 11 returns for 249 yards in 11 games. That connects directly to a need in New England, because the return game was not exactly a strength. In Finland, he also produced on offense, with 25 catches, 326 yards, and 5 touchdowns in 4 games for Tampere, helping a team that had not won a game take 2 of its final 4. And Collier himself pointed out that he also played defense, including an interception to win a game. So no, this is not some blockbuster signing. This is a margin story, an evaluation story. Maybe it is a find value where almost nobody is looking story. Sometimes the player does not sign right away. Sometimes he stays on the radar. Sometimes he comes back better, more ready and more adjusted. And in an NFL where one return can flip an entire game, I like seeing the Patriots search for that kind of hidden edge. Foxborough has always had room for players who force the door open. At the end of the day, today's script shows a Patriots team that is not sitting around waiting for respect to fall out of the sky. Milton Williams represents aggression and a hit. Sam LaPorta represents an opportunity that has to be watched. Robert Spillane represents leadership, limits, and defensive identity. Logan Collier represents the search for an edge anywhere on the map. And that is what fans want to feel. A team working, hunting for answers, trying to climb step by step. Now tell me in the comments which story hit you the hardest. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in because in Foxborough, every detail could become the next big signal.